Well, today I'm joined by Rich Lloyd, Chief Executive of Shuka Minerals. Rich, it's great to have you on. How are you doing? Sounds like it's been a big week.
It has been a big week. Yes, we're finally getting there with the financing and the funding for Kabwe, which is fantastic.
Yeah, like you say, you announced much anticipated progress towards the completion of that acquisition of the Kabwe Project, which is in Zambia. Before we get into the deal, can we start by focusing on the opportunity here? You describe Kabwe as a world-class mine. Can you walk us through the project and why it presents so much potential for value creation for Shuka?
Yeah, I mean, it's well known. It's the world's richest zinc mine. It was operated from 1904 to 1995. The combination of Anglo-Americans, technical teams, and ZCCM in the sort of latter days. It's shut due to perhaps inefficiencies and the zinc price at the time, but the zinc's massively rebounded. It's taken a long time for our partners Leopard to bring the various licenses together. And yeah, now we're concluding that deal where we will take 100% ownership. We did the first tranche, as announced yesterday, the cash consideration of $300,000, which gives us 22.2%. And we've agreed with Leopard to do that in incremental tranches, firstly up to 49, and then the latter 51 in one hit, so that the control doesn't really change incrementally past that point. So we look to conclude all that by the end of this month, which isn't far away. But shareholders have been very, very patient. Leopard have been very, very supportive and patient. It has taken a little longer than we expected. These things always do. But yeah, we're very excited and we're moving forward now.
Yes, it's been a while in the making, so it must feel pretty good to finally be close to getting this one over the line.
Yeah. On the asset itself, historically produced nearly 15 million tons of ore, which in the 2021 prices was worth about $8.3 billion. And there's a lot left. They produced nearly 2 million tons of zinc, about 800,000 tons of lead. There was 8,000 tons of vanadium oxide and about nearly 3 million ounces of silver produced. So there's a lot of material down there. There's a few elements that perhaps it weren't even on the periodic table when they were producing, such as gallium, germanium. We've just got to work out the chemistry set, how to extract all those materials and those valuable minerals efficiently.
Definitely, yeah. So obviously there's a lot of elements there. Can you tell us a bit about how you intend to explore and advance the project? When you first announced the acquisition last year, you outlined a 3-phase exploration program. Does that still remain your intention?
Yeah, there's critically, you need to get the geophysics tied up. We have some very, very good data, but we need to bring that together across the central part of the project and further south, where there's further resource that we want to look into and upgrade, if you like. But yeah, the focus is the main central area. So you've got the geophysics starting off. At the same time, we'll take a lot of samples, both from the drilling campaign once that gets going and surface material, so that we can really understand the metallurgy of what we have. We're lucky that there is so much in-situ material that can be tested, rather than trying to guess through a desktop study or through a computer model. Testing that material to the nth degree and really working out what pilot plants we can put in with a view to the final plant, and then also the drilling design. Probably two programs of 20,000 meters, which isn't cheap, but you've got a pit or an open pit, and you can see the head frame over my left shoulder here, or my right shoulder, sorry, that goes down to 600 meters. So we know the envelope of the resource extremely well. We have to do confirmatory drilling to repeat the drilling that was done in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. That recoveries weren't great then. Techniques were perhaps slightly different, or they were different, and we need to twin those to confirm the resource that Bear Dole Bear have given us. So even just in the Pit 2 area, they've got 5.7 million tons of resource currently in situ. So the total in situ value of the metal in the ground is about $4 billion, and they show a cash flow of about $2 billion, or a revenue, I should say, of $2 billion. Now you've got to you've got to work out how to extract that efficiently and properly. Especially with a small company with a market cap of £3 million, it's quite a differential in terms of the value. But that drilling program will be key, and also that the environmental baseline study. Kabwe has had a checkered history. There's a lot of press on the environmental side of things. We're looking to go in there and set a new base, and really improve what they have and what they've had to deal with over the past. This is we don't take on any of the liability, any of the historic liability, but obviously in the current day and age, ESG and CSR, so environmental social governance, your corporate social responsibility is key, and that'll be one of the target areas from day one. You need to do that on any project, but this one in particular.
Great. So lots of different programs there. Can we expect this to take place over next year? Do you have an idea of timeframes at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we have 100% of the project, which is imminent, we get going. We already have our geological consultants, GeoQuest in Lusaka, pulling together all the GIS data. They've helped us plan the drilling campaign. The Bear Doll Bear Competent Persons Report is very, very detailed. That goes into when and where all the drill holes need to be. That needs to be confirmed. So yeah, it's all ready to go. It's just taken a little longer to us to be able to press the button.
Yeah, but that means that you're able to hit the ground running now that you are getting it over the line. So when you first announced the deal, you also proposed commencing discussions with local mining companies currently operating in the area. Can you tell us a bit about this? I mean, does that remain the case?
Yeah, look, there's a number of people operating in the area. You all want access and surface rights, etc., etc. So far so good. There's people just are dying for this asset to get going again, whether it be the local district commissioner and certainly the local community. This mine used to employ 5,000 people, plus all the ancillary and knock-on effect in the town itself. So you've got a number of artisanal miners that are working in the area, and we want to absorb them into the group. They, rather than them scratching around on the edges of the pits that are currently there and currently flooded, they obviously want their jobs back as well. They'd rather earn a stable salary than scratching around in a pair of Wellington boots on the side of the pit trying to earn a living. And they have extremely valuable knowledge. They've been there a long time. They know exactly what the ore body. They could almost tell you the grade just by looking at it. So they've almost become very good geologists in their own right. Absorbing that, purchasing their material. So again, we can, you've already got a massive metallurgical base that we can test and see what material we have at what grades and how we're going to design the plant for it.
Great. I was going to ask you what Zambia is like as a mining jurisdiction, but based on what you've just said there, it sounds like it's pretty supportive, particularly in the area in which you're operating due to that legacy of the mine.
Yeah, I mean, Kabwe was built on the mine. The name of the town is the mine as well. That's why it exists. I mean, it was called Broken Hill Prospect in the early days, and it's where they actually found the Broken Hill skull that has now been dated to 300,000 years of age. So there's another little add-on there that you want to almost build a visitor centre for the local students, the university students, indeed tourists. It's one area of Pit 6 that we won't be able to go into because it's a UNESCO site, but also bringing that sort of thing back to people's attention, I think, is also important. Okay, our first focus is the mine, geology, the resources, but eventually you'll want to have all that wider community engagement and community feel that should add benefit to the wider area.
Okay, and finally, I wanted to quickly ask about the Rukwa project, where earlier this month you reported that discussions are ongoing with respect to the sale of 60,000 tonnes of stockpiled fines. Are those discussions still ongoing?
Yeah, look, the fines don't have huge value. It's a very small capex to get it back up and running. We're doing that at the moment. The trucks are on their way back down. We had a couple of Tata trucks up in a town called Morogoro in central Tanzania, so they're heading back to the project. Bridge repairs, road repairs, dewatering the pits, that's all been done. So we're ready to test, press the button there. The opportunity for the fines is also to JV what's called a briquette plant, which increases the value of the fines as well. So we're looking at all options on that. Looking to really, for about $150,000, we can get that mine up and running straight away. And that's a nice cash flow generator, while the bigger spend on the exploration, etc., is Kabwe.
Great. Well, it sounds like Shuka is approaching a busy period, so hopefully we'll be speaking again soon when you're next able to update the market. But thanks again for your time today, Richard.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.